and say hello, everyone, and welcome to the Resilience Research Group's monthly seminar series. This month, Dennis Relojo-Howell will be talking to us about how to promote resilience through blogging. Dennis, would you like to take over?
Yeah, sure. And thank you for having me here, Jennifer. And also, I apologize last time because I was a bit disorganized, so I couldn't find the Zoom link. But anyway, so sorry, let me just share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen now, yeah. So I'm a PhD student, so what I'll be sharing to you is a rather messy work in progress. So basically, this is a how do I say this? Because I have three studies for my PhD research project, and I've done study one. Now for study two, my research supervisors during the annual review, they said there was a conflict of interest. So this is the research project that I wanted to do, but due to conflict of interest, I have to come up with a different study. So essentially, I would just be, hearing from you, what do you think about the research projects? I still want to pursue it, and looking for potential collaborators. I still want to pursue it as a side project, not as an essential part of my PhD. Okay, so my research project is essentially looking for ways on how we could use blogs as a way to promote resilience among adolescents in low and middle income countries. Now, the underpinning theoretical framework is that resilience is tied in with anxiety and depressive symptoms. And at its worst, anxiety and depressive symptoms can lead to suicidal behavior. Now, I'm working particularly on young people, and that's because they make up almost a quarter of the world's population, and 85% of them live in low and middle income countries. Now, when we're designing resilience interventions, there are a number of factors that we have to consider, and one of those factors is giving an opportunity for self-disclosure. Now, there are a number of ways that you could implement self-disclosure. But my idea of self-disclosure comes from the work of James Pennebaker in the 1980s, who introduced expressive writing. According to Pennebaker, when we give people an opportunity to express themselves, especially talk about their past trauma, it can provide a range of psychological and physical benefits. Now, of course, in the 21st century, we're no longer restricted to pen and paper when it comes to self-disclosure. We now have social media, we now have blogs, where we can publicize our thoughts and our insights. Now, there are three types of blogs: textual, video, and photos, that for the purpose of my supposedly research project, I'm just focusing on textual blogs. Now, there are many reasons why people launch their blog, but if you ask a mental health blogger why they launch their mental health blog, it's very unlikely that they will say that this is because they want to be popular or they want to make it a source of income. Take, for instance, the case of Ann Moss Rogers, who launched emotionallynaked.com in 2015 when she tragically lost her son to suicide. In a TEDx talk, Ann said how blogs were instrumental in managing her grief and eventually in promoting positive mental health. Now, there's also another feature of blogs that we can capitalize, and that is it has a wider reach. Now, there's a website called SimilarWeb where it allows you to check how much traffic a website gets in a month. And if you put annual reviews alongside Psychology Today, you can see a massive difference in traffic. Annual Reviews is of course, one of the most reputable psychology journals, and Psychology Today is one of the most popular psychology blogs. So you could see the difference in traffic. Now, that is the trend for textual blog, but you could also see a similar trend in video blogs. Take, for instance, Molly Burke. She's a Canadian video blogger. She talks a lot about mental health on her YouTube channel, and she has over 2 million subscribers. Now, that's a lot of subscribers if you're going to compare that with, the YouTube channels of psychological organizations. Of course, it's not really a competition of who's got the most likes, who's got the most subscribers, or who's got the most reach on social media. But when we're designing an intervention that is designing a specific demographic, such as young people, these are trends that we cannot ignore. And so researchers are interested why this is the case. And according to them, because young people feel that there is a sense of community within these platforms. It offers a sense of support system. Of course, researchers are not oblivious of these trends. That's why in 2013, and this is actually where I draw inspiration for my research project, Bonil Nizem and Barak try to find out whether we can use a blog as a psychological intervention. And what they found out is that it can help young people in managing their social and emotional difficulties. Of course, blogs, it has its own limitations. It does not suit everyone, because also there's a tendency to, because you could monetize your content, so there's a tendency to glamorize mental health conditions, so you get more clicks. And of course, some of the contents verging towards black psychology. Now, so for my research project, initially I proposed that I would be working with young people in 3 low-middle income countries: Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines. So this was originally my proposal for my research supervisor. So on study 1, I will carry out qualitative interviews just to kind of understand what young people think about resilience and blogging. And I managed to do that. I'll show you some of the findings that I've gathered from study 1. Now, for study 2, I was proposing to do a blog-based resilience intervention, and this is where I had a problem. And so that also compromised my study 3. So right now I'm stuck with study 1, and I propose another study for my study 2, and I'm waiting for approval for my ethics application. But I still want to talk about what would have been my study 2. I'm sorry. I just want to talk about my study 1 first. So for my study 1, I interviewed 15 young people in Philippines, and I asked them about what they think about resilience. So one of the most I think interesting finding here is that they tied it with religion, with culture, and because Philippines is a very Catholic country, and also a lot of young people, they say that if you live in the Philippines, you have to be resilient because it's a country that on average you have about 15 typhoons and about 20 earthquakes in a year. So I also discuss about the role of religion and the role of your support system in providing you with resilience. And then so that's the developed thematic analysis. This is the initial thematic map that I've developed, and I managed to narrate it down to 3 themes: sources of resilience, the role of resilience, and then the process of resilience. Now, I did the same for blogs. So interestingly, because I'm a blogger myself, so I have a more technical definition of blog. I was quite surprised with how young people define blogs. So they tend to associate it with social media, and then also they tend to their definition of blog tends to overlap with textual and video blogs. So that's interesting for me. And they also talk some platforms that I haven't heard about, such as Wattpad, Books, and Webtoon. And interestingly, they are interested about manga blogs. Now, when I asked them whether we could use blogs as a resilience intervention, a lot of them are rather ambivalent about this. They said that because and they're saying that because everyone can just launch their own platform, so a lot of the information that you would be seeing on blogs are not really credible. And they also said that blogs could also be a vessel for fake news, and also the privacy issues. They're talking about like the personal information, how could it be safeguarded online? Yeah, so this is the developed thematic analysis for the blogging aspect of study 1. Yeah, so for study 2, I was proposing that I would have 3 groups. So the first one would be blogging group, and then group 2 would be a diary writing group, and then group 3, just another control group, would be a shopping list group. So essentially, I was proposing that there would be, they would do a series of writing activities, blogging and diary and shopping, for 4 weeks. And I would be getting my participants from Malaysia. So this, I will be using 3 scales, the Connor-Davis resilience scale, and then I would also like to measure gratitude, because a lot of resilience literature talks about the role of gratitude in relation to resilience and also hope. So I would have a pretest of these scales, and then I will assign them into one of these writing conditions. And then after that, I will do another post test. So yeah, essentially that would have been my study 2. But unfortunately, my proposal was not approved by my research supervisors due to conflict of interest. And I just want to share the reason why they did not approve it for because of conflict of interest. I'll share this video that that I prepared for my project. I don't know if you would be able to hear the audio, but let's try.
Young adults often have to make a lot of adjustments. For many, this means that their entire worlds are turned upside down. And that doesn't even account for the huge adjustment period of learning the realities of career, relationship, finances, and just what life will be like. That familiar metaphor of bouncing back is what is often known as resilience. It's the ability to cope with adversity and to flourish after that. But how do you build resilience? How can you learn how to flourish after experiencing adversity? PsychReg Resilience Project, or PrEP, is a platform that wants to explore blogging as a way for young adults to learn how to build more resilience. This project will go through different stages that will involve young adults from different countries. So if you're someone who wants to learn more about how to bounce back, and you have a passion to help others who may be struggling, this is for you. Or if you've always wanted to be a person who can put their thoughts down in a blog, journal, or other written format, you are invited to take part. Visit prep.psychreg.org and start blogging to bounce back.
I would like to welcome.
So that would have been the video that I would use for recruitment purposes, for marketing purposes. And then I also developed a website. This is just a basic website where where my participants would be able to log in and then blog for about 4 weeks. And the reason why it was rejected because just to give you a bit of background on what I do. So basically, I run a website called PsychReg, and PsychReg is essentially a limited company. And so because I was using the word PsychReg, they said that it conflict of interest that I was using this study to promote PsychReg, and with the video that I made, it seems like I was determined to prove that blogging actually works. But my argument for them is that PsychReg is not really in the business of selling anything. My main source of income is ad revenue with my YouTube channel and also with the PsychReg itself. And I told them that if you actually visit the PrEP website, the Psych Resilience website, there's no ads, so there's no way I would be making any money. But essentially, I was not able to kind of defend my research proposal. So right now, I draft a proposal where I would just be doing content analysis of blogs from people in low and middle income countries. It's still being reviewed for ethics approval. I don't know when I will hear back. This is quite busy, I think. Yeah, so that's it.
Many thanks, Dennis. Does anyone have any questions?
I do actually. I'm curious, like, is blogging really popular in the UK for young people?
It is popular in the sense that there is actually a community of bloggers. I myself, I'm a member of UK mental health bloggers. Well, we meet every year. We have events, talk about our content. But whether it's popular in the UK is irrelevant to my study project, because I will be focusing in low and middle income countries. So even for my initial proposal, where I would be designing a blog-based intervention, my target participants would be coming from Malaysia, which is a LAMI country. Now for my study too, the one that is still undergoing ethics approval, I will still be focusing in low and middle income countries content creators. But yeah, just to answer your question, it is because if you just do a quick Google search, there are lots of blog posts.
The reason I asked is because I'm from Thailand. I'm in Thailand right now, but the thing is, a lot of our adolescents are more like steering toward Twitter and TikTok is the most like popular. So I'm curious about like, say, the difference between like blogging and Twitter, because it's also this it's similar in the sense that you write something down, right? But then Twitter has the word limit, but people can also comment and support it. But the thing I'm curious about is that would Twitter reach more people? Like, or does blogging reach more people? That's why you choose blogging?
Actually, when if we are being technical about the definition of blogging, Twitter and Facebook in itself would also be categorized as microblog. But I'm leaning towards the more traditional blog, which is textual blog. Now, of course, young people are even without the absence of data, we can tell that a lot of young people are actually more comfortable expressing themselves in shorter format platforms such as Twitter and TikTok. But I'm looking for young people who are more comfortable engaging with self-disclosure, like blogging and expressive writing. So those are the young people that I'm particularly looking for as part of my research study. But thank you for the question, Tim.
Thank you.
And I will be in Thailand actually.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, I think 8th of December.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you visiting with the team for parenting of lifelong health?
Sorry.
It's the professors from Oxford, they came in and actually work with like low and in the rural area and working on like positive parenting. And I think their target group are also parents of like young children and adolescents. So it might, so it might like, because they did a project launch a few years ago, and like they did the adaptation. I helped them with it, and so now they have like a Thai-based manual where they actually use positive parenting to help like raise the children and teenagers. So
Okay.
like if you come to Thailand and maybe those groups of kids might, I don't know, have more resilience, or maybe it might be helpful to you, I think.
Do they have a website?
Yes, I can put you in touch with one of the project the head of, maybe I'll put you in touch with my senior colleague. He's the main person helping them with the project.
Okay.
His name is Dr. Sombat. I got your email from the message. I'll use the email to introduce you to him.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe it'll be good. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Pim. I'm going to suggest that we end the recording here, since we seem to be moving on to more personal details, which we perhaps don't want on YouTube. So I want to say thank you very much, Dennis, for your presentation, and it was really interesting to hear about your PhD work.
Thank you.